Good morning. Welcome to First UU. My name is Jane. I'm a longtime member of this congregation. I have white hair and I'm tall, but you can't tell because I'm sitting down. Anyway, if this is your first time here, or your third, or your 50th, we welcome you. Let us begin by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional territory of Niukwska people, known sometimes by the name Osage. The descendants of the people who were forcibly removed from this land make up the Osage Nation. We acknowledge their continued struggle for justice. The chalice lighting words are Building the Possible, written by Reverend Scott Taylor, inspired by and with use of the words of John Shar. May this flame cast its light toward the coming days, reminding us that the future is not simply a place we are going, but a place we are creating. The path of new possibilities will not be found, but made. A new world is waiting to be built. May our time together light the way. The chalice lighter this morning in the sanctuary is Emily.
Hello, I'm Roxanne Darby. My pronouns are she, her. I'm wearing a green flowery dress with a necklace my dad made about 60 some years ago. And I and my husband David are going to read the opening words. Our opening words are A Spacious Welcome by Sherry Woodbury.
Welcome who come in friendship, who long for genuine community.
May you be graciously received here as your authentic self.
Welcome who come in curiosity, full of questions, or simply open.
May you embrace wonder and encounter new delights.
Welcome who come with heavy fatigue, weary from the troubles of the world or the troubles of your particular life.
May you rest and be filled in this sacred space.
Welcome who come with joy for flowing rivers and gentle breeze, for changing skies and great trees.
May the grace of the world leave a lasting imprint on you.
Welcome who come with thanks for the altruism of the earth and the gift of human care.
May your grateful heart overflow and bless those around you.
Come, let us celebrate together this wondrous life.
And our song for the month of September is Come, Come, Whoever You Are, number 188 in the gray hymnal. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit to sing.
The words are on the screen. I'll read it. I'll find it. Oh, wait. Part of what it means for us to practice our faith and live into our values is to lift up ways we can leave the world a better place than when we touched it, when we found it. So for our next activity, we're going to honor the autumn equinox by leaning into environmental justice and the invitation to protect our waters. Please enjoy the read aloud of We Are Water Protectors by Carol Lindstrom.
Hello, my name is Margaret and I work at Politics and Prose Bookstore. Welcome to a virtual visit to the bookstore for a presentation from author Carol Lindstrom. She will read and talk from her latest book, We Are Water Protectors. This book is inspired by all Indigenous people fighting for clean water. Carol Lindstrom is a proud member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Ojibwe. She grew up in Nebraska and now lives in Maryland. Please welcome Carol Lindstrom.
Hi, so I'm going to read We Are Water Protectors, written by myself, Carol Lindstrom, and illustrated by Michaela Goad. Water is the first medicine, Nokomis told me. We come from water. It nourished us inside our mother's body as it nourishes us here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. The river's rhythm runs through my veins, runs through my people's veins. My people talk of a black snake that will destroy the land. Spoil the water, poison plants and animals, wreck everything in its path. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people together to stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. The winged ones, the crawling ones. The four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes. The earth. We are all related. Tears like waterfalls stream down, tracks down my face, tracks down my people's faces. Water has its own spirit, Nokomis told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. The black snake is in for the fight of its life. At the end of the book is also some information on the water protectors that I've listed, that I've written as well for you to read, so you can learn a little bit more about the water protectors and the fight against the black snake. There's also a glossary and in the back that has some pronunciation guide that can help you pronounce the words. And then the illustrator has also written a lovely note as well that talks about what this book and what the water protectors means to her. And I've also included a water, earth steward and water protector pledge at the back of the book that I would love to recite with you right now. So I'm going to say it, and I hope that you can say it along with me. I will do my best to honor Mother Earth and all its living beings, including the water and land. I will always remember to treat the earth as I would like to be treated. I will treat the winged ones, the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes, the earth with kindness and respect. I pledge to make this world a better place by being a steward of the earth and a protector of the water. And there's a place for you to sign and dates so that you can always remember that you're going to be a protector of the water. Now I'm going to talk a bit about my inspiration for We Are Water Protectors and just a little bit about myself so that you can kind of know a little bit about me. I am Anishinaabe, which means original people, and I'm also a citizen of the Turtle Mountain Band of Ojibwe, which in my tribal homelands are in Turtle Mountain, North Dakota. On this slide here that you'll see, you'll see my symbol for my tribal flag. Also below that is me along with my tribal chairman from the Turtle Mountain Ojibwe. Then just a few pictures of me when I was little. And then of course my cat, who is also my boss. And now I'm going to talk about why I wrote this book and what made me want to write this story. I guess the reason why I wrote it is because I wrote it really as a love letter to Standing Rock. When the pipeline was going through and all this stuff started, which was was April of 2016, I felt really helpless and I didn't know what to do. And I wondered, how could I help? What can I do? I couldn't go, living so far away. And even though my tribal homelands, and you'll see on the slide here, there is this up in the left-hand corner, top left, shows the pipeline's route. And it starts in North Dakota. And you'll see the Turtle Mountain Reservation. That's my tribal homelands there. And then Standing Rock is south of my tribal homelands, so around Bismarck. So I felt so strongly this need to be there and to help and to do what I could, but I couldn't be there. So I thought, well, I can certainly write a book. I've written a book. I have been writing books for a while. And so I felt, well, now is the time to write a story about it so the world can know what's going on. In addition to that, I was sharing on social media, but I felt like I needed to do more. And so I started writing the story as a young adult novel. There was so much information that I needed the world to know. But I felt like a novel was going to take me way too long. So I thought, well, maybe I could do a picture book, because not that it's easier, because picture books are very difficult to write as well. But I felt that I could get it out into the world quicker so that people would know the situation and what's going on with Standing Rock and with the fight from all Indigenous peoples against the extraction industry or, fossil fuels, oil. So this story, again, was inspired by Standing Rock, and Standing Rock is Standing Rock Sioux tribe, which is also the Lakota tribe, which is in North Dakota. And also part of South Dakota, you'll see there. But the pipeline route was going, and the pipeline, as I alluded to, and what Ojibwe prophecy speaks of, is the Black Snake. It's also known as the Black Snake because it carries oil. And so this pipeline was proposed, or was going to be going through the Standing Rock Sioux tribe's land, across their burial sites, where their ancestors are buried, and across the water. And we know, the pipelines leak. They leak almost every day. There's leaks. And so a leak in the pipeline means, a leak, people have no clean water, that the animals, the plants, everything is affected by this. So this is why I wrote the story. This slide also shows the land there in North Dakota of where the Cannonball and the Missouri River came together in Fort Yates. That's how beautiful the land is. This next slide is showing when the teepee camp first was erected in on the Standing Rock Reservation. So it began just, as really just a grassroots movement, people from the tribe putting up their camp there and just sort of trying to say, this is our land and we don't want you here. This is not appropriate. We know what these pipelines do. So it just became a larger and larger over time, through the summer. Like I said, it started in April, but I first learned of it in June. And then I really was just totally immersed in the whole story, because I just felt so strongly that why isn't everybody feeling the same way about water? Why doesn't everybody feel the same way that this is so important? So as you can see in this slide, the Turtle Mountain Ojibwe, that's my tribal flag. It's in the bottom left. So my tribe was also here in Standing Rock. And then I think one thing that the illustrator did, which I think is amazing, is on the front cover of the book, the main character is shown with an eagle feather. An eagle feather is very sacred to Native people, and to show it is a peaceful offering. And basically, that's what we're seeing in these pictures. Is no matter how much maybe force or military or security or whatever was against us, and I mean us by Indigenous peoples, we always were peaceful. It was a peaceful camp. We were just there to raise awareness and to just say, stop, please go away. So this again is another slide just showing more of an illustration, but what was happening as the summer progressed. It became more of a military presence. There were more security forces there against the Standing Rock people, as well as the other tribal nations who came. And then also here in Washington, D.C., where I live, there were protests as well. And Bernie Sanders was one of the people who came. And there's a picture of him there because I took my son, and you can see him standing with the No Dakota Access Pipeline, or the No DAPL sign. But we went to the protest as often as we could, just to raise our voice and to let the world know as well, and just be part of it, that we don't stand for this. We know this is wrong, and we will not have this. And then at Standing Rock itself, the winter of 2016, there were over 500 Native Indigenous nations that gathered, which was a very, momentous occasion to stand against the pipeline. And even though it was winter, they still prepared for the camps and still stood against the pipelines and for the water. And then, sadly, around that time in the winter, the pipeline did end up going through, which is a sad thing to say. And even though it was not even finished yet, and the pipeline leaked. So the pipeline was leaking even before it was completed, because they do run oil apparently to the pipeline even before they finish it. And it already was leaking before it was even completed in 2017. So this slide here is showing a teepee camp that came from Standing Rock. They came to Washington, D.C. To set up a teepee camp in March of 2017. And I also went to that. They were here for about 3 or 4 days. And there was a march through the streets in DC, and you can see the black snake, which says no pipeline on it, which is really meant to illustrate the black snake. So that was another good day to just be in ceremony with Native peoples, and just to be together and stand together as one against the pipeline and against the extraction industry.
Offering our gifts to support the work of building inclusive and just communities is one of the many ways that we live into justice and equity together. Some of us have much to give, and some have little. And together it is enough. We are enough to work together for a world where every human can live into their best and most authentic self. If electronic giving is your preferred method, or if you are on Zoom, virtual giving options are available via our website, springfielduu.org. This morning at 7:44 a.m. Central Time, we had the autumn equinox, when day and night have equal lengths. In celebration of this event, the offertory today is the autumn verse of Chant for the Seasons, performed by the choir.
Hello, my name is Marilyn. I use she, her pronouns and a stool. And I am very curly gray hair this morning and wearing leafy colors and black. The sermon I'll be sharing is The No That Makes Possible Each Yes by Reverend Victoria Safford. She originally delivered it at White Bear UU Church in Mahatma, Minnesota on October 15th, 2015. Keep that in mind as there are references to time throughout the message. Reverend Safford gave us full permission to adapt it a bit for length, which Laura has done. Thank you very much. She also gave permission for the link to her full original sermon to be included in the What's Up email this coming Thursday. So you'll be able to read it for yourself if you wish. In Ramallah, on the West Bank, Palestine, a little revolution recently, 2015, took place. Completely nonviolent, completely joyful, irrevocably radical, though in some ways hardly noticeable. The kind of pinpoint event in the great sweep of history that could be seen either as the threshold of the future or the culmination of the past, or both. In a cramped office filled with desks and metal chairs, file cabinets, computers, a woman in a headscarf barked at her daughter, "Speak up, raise your voice." The daughter, a young woman, stood with her fiancé, with other family members gathered round, and for the first time ever in Palestine, the officiant presiding over the civil marriage was a woman. Tahir Hamad, who is 39, first applied for her official post in 2009 after working many years as a law clerk. She was denied. She persisted, encouraged by colleagues, male and female, slandered by others, including a former professor of hers who posted on Facebook that her appointment would, quote, "open the door of a metastasizing evil," end quote. She persisted. Even though the Islamic legal system there is archaic, the marriage contract is signed by the groom and the father of the bride and by two male witnesses. But finally, she prevailed, and the people of Ramallah have welcomed her. When Ms. Hammond officiates, she always asks questions of the couple and asks each to answer separately. Do you freely consent to this marriage? That's when the mother of the bride yelled out, "Speak up!" to her shy daughter, something that mother might not have done with a male officiant. Ms. Hammond also asks each time if there are conditions to be stipulated in the marriage contract. The young woman standing before her whispered, "I would like to finish my education," and said afterwards that she had no idea that this was even possible. Mother, daughter, grandmothers in the room, little children there, nephews and nieces, and Miss Hamad herself are all part of this great turning, brought about because someone, somewhere, many someones in succession, looked at a tradition thousands of years old and simply said, "No, this cannot stand. This no longer works for us. This makes no sense. This is not right. We will no longer exclude women from this work." And the spoken no of imagination becomes the yes of possibility for everyone, not just for women. A no like that, a yes like that, challenges every presumption, opens all kinds of doors. A little flower girl once said to me at a wedding, "Wow, this is so cool. I always thought that at weddings I'd have to be the bride." Meaning, this is so cool, I can be anything I want. Rebecca Solnit is an American essayist and journalist. She was born in 1961. As she says, the summer the Berlin Wall went up into a country in which there weren't even words, let alone redress, for many of the practices that kept women and people of color from free and equal citizenship, some of which the practices continue, although now at least we do have words. A country in which homosexuality was diagnosed as a disease and treated as a crime, in which the ecosystem was hardly even a concept and we were on a hair trigger alert for a nuclear Armageddon. It was a world with more rainforest, more ozone layer, and more species, but few were defending those things then. The world gets worse. It also gets better. We do it all the time, this no and yes, so valiantly in small and humble, miraculous ways, little revolutions. We look at the world as it is and suddenly glimpse the world as it could be. And then we can't go back. We move through the patterns, traditions, the habits of things as they are, as if they were immutable, intractable. And then by grace or will or luck, we wonder, but what if? You've known this, you've seen it, you've lived this maybe more than once. Unanticipated but deliberate transformation, unexpected power. How many people have come into my office? How many people do you yourself know who have told a story, something like this? I love my parents and my family of origin, but the life I've made as an adult and am still making is very different from the one I came from. I don't know exactly how or when, but at some point, I said no to violence, emotional or physical violence. I just wasn't going to live like that. I made a different kind of home. Or I said no to the casual, habitual racism of family dinner table jokes, or the sexism or homophobia or whatever it was. It was not huge in our lives, but quietly ever present. And I grew up one day and said, no more. At my table, that will not go unchecked. Some loved ones can't forgive me, but I'm holding fast. Or I said no to corporal punishment for children. Or I said no to the shaming of anyone. Or I said no to religion I didn't believe in. Or I said no to silence when speaking was important. And I said no to idle talk when it was better to be quiet. Or I said no to alcoholism. This could be someone in recovery themselves or someone who loves someone and still they had to say no loudly, clearly, repeatedly to their own self in the mirror and to others at great risk. No to the swirling chaos that addiction leads to in a household. No to enabling it. No to tolerating it. No to tolerating its catastrophic consequences. Forgiving its sins. Not to looking the other way. No to trying endlessly to placate and to please. No to smoothing over ruffled feathers, trampled feelings. No to the numbness of having no feelings at all. No to self-denial, self-incrimination, self-loathing, self-blaming. The person says, or maybe you have said, this sounds so negative, all this naysaying, but no has made possible every yes in my life, every lovely, cherished thing. I once was lost, and now I'm not. It is not easy. Frederick Buchner, I probably slaughtered that, Presbyterian novelist and minister, says sometimes it feels selfish, and in certain ways it is, the reclamation of the self. In a memoir in which he recalls family members living with addiction, dysfunction, and depression, Buchner writes, love your neighbor as yourself is part of the great commandment. The other way to say it is, love yourself as your neighbor. Love yourself is not egocentric, self-serving sense, but love yourself the way you would love your friend in the sense of taking care of yourself, nourishing yourself, trying to understand, comfort, strengthen yourself. Mind your own business means butt out of other people's lives because in the long run, they must live their lives for themselves. But it also means pay mind to your own life, your own health and wholeness, both for your own sake and ultimately for the sake of those you love too. Take care of yourself so you can take care of them. A bleeding heart is of no help to anybody if it bleeds to death. Sometimes the only honest way to say I love you is to say as tenderly and relentlessly as you've ever said anything, no, no, this can't continue. No, I cannot help you. I will say yes to your life and to mine by saying no, because I love us both. Imagination is powerful. It surveys the given world, dysfunctional, dystopian, archaic, constrained, and glimpses possibility. And from resistance to ill health, to bad practice, to oppression, from that sacred no, yes starts taking shape. You gather your principles, rules for living, convictions. You decide what kind of person you intend to be, you're called to be, and from that solid ground comes compassion, generosity, the strength to love. You decide what you do and do not want, what you need in this life and what you really don't. No and yes, both clarify our ethics and our faith. The spark of it is in all of us. The spark of it is in us all along. On a Wednesday night 2 weeks ago, a toddler friend of mine was playing on the floor in the middle of the hallway. She had toys strewn around her and a bevy of admirers and playmates, I not least among them. People began arriving for the Wednesday dinner. And so her innocent but misguided papa started to pick up the toys and say something inappropriate like, "Time to clean up." He came closer and closer to where she was sitting, and she saw him coming, toys in his hand. The storm clouds on her face grew threatening. Silence descended as she gathered her strength. I'm not sure Papa noticed. And then this tiny girl stood up on her tiny legs and put out her hand. "Papa, stop." It was oh dear. It was beautiful. I don't think Papa caught that aspect of it. It was the triumph on the wall of the will. It was agency, integrity, all those things we talk about in baby dedications. It was, I want to live in the world of toys and friends and endless time, not dinner time, not high chair time or cleanup time. Stop. She was like Diana Ross. In the name of all that is good and right and true, you shall not pass. The toddler lost that particular round, but the fire's inside her. We'll see that flare again. Louise Erdrich, the novelist, says, "I hold the word no in my mouth like a gold coin, something valued, something possible, to teach the no to our daughters, to value their no more than their compliant yes. To celebrate no, to grasp the word no in your fist and refuse to give it up. To support the boy who says no to violence, the girl who will not be violated, the woman who says, no, 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 I will not. To love the no, to cherish the no, which is so often our first word. No, the means of transformation." One final story. Last week in 2015, I read about a camp for Syrian refugees in Jordan. Unlike Europe and the West, the Jordanians opened their border 4 years earlier, 2011. Hundreds of thousands of people have come in. 80,000 of them live in this camp 50 miles from Amman, the nation's capital. Imagine that. And although they only have intermittent electricity and must carry water, both drinking water and wastewater, by hand, and live in tents or concrete buildings, a kind of community has been established. There are makeshift markets, 2,500 of them, a whole economy now generating 14 million a month by one United Nations estimate. People plant gardens and trees, olives and lemons, the fruits from which they hope they won't be there to see because a camp should be a temporary place. But still, one man says, we call this White City. The sand is white, the tents are white, the sky. But he has small children, and so he's planted corn, tomatoes, fruit trees, sunflowers, because he says children should see colors, living green. He needs them to see beauty in the garden and care and pride and patience. He moved all the soil from a construction site miles away on the other side of the camp in buckets on a bicycle. He teaches the children poetry and music. Essentially, he's saying, he and countless others are saying, no, we will not die and we will not live like animals. We will not succumb to subhumanity. No. And yes, this man also says that if the chance came to leave tomorrow for Germany, for Sweden, or to go home to Damascus, they'd go in a heartbeat, because he also says no, absolutely unequivocally, to the identity of refugee. No, we will not relinquish our personhood, nor the hope that holds us to our home and also to our future. This is the no that makes possible each yes. For the children of our children's children, it is the means to every transformation. Those are the end of the words from Reverend Victoria Safford. We now have an interlude. The name is Phoenix Tail Bamboo Under Moonlight by Shi Gunam, performed by John with some percussion assistance from the choir. This piece ties in with the Moon Festival, the Mid-Autumn Festival, which this year fell on this past Tuesday, September 17th. John, can you tell us a little about the instrument?
Hulus, which means gourd and silk, and it comes from China. It was developed by a minority group there called the Dai people, and it's become very famous throughout China. This song is about a young man who plays the hulus and goes and plays under the window of a young lady, hoping to get invited in. But after playing the song, the window never opens and he goes away sadly. So it's either a tragedy or a comedy, depending on your point of view.
Good morning. My name is Neil Richardson. Use he, him pronouns, and then today I'm wearing long sleeve shirt because I want it to cool down outside one of these days. And I'm helping out the Pastoral Care Circle. As a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper, oops. Slips of paper are available at the greeters table for those in the sanctuary to use for joys and concerns. During the week, you may also send your joys and concerns by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone at 417-883-3922. And if you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. Yep. All these joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday. We do honor each joy and concern with a lighted candle, a symbol of the love we as a community offer for each other for each of these joys and concerns. And this morning, Emily J. will be lighting the candles. Within the theme of invitation, we can discover both expansiveness and a return to challenges. We are invited to extend the love that is hospitality both to strangers and to ourselves. Adrian Reich opined that change is not a threat to our lives, but an invitation to live. May we welcome these invitations as a pathway towards our truest selves. And now as we begin this time of sharing, know that although we are in multiple physical spaces, we are together in beloved community. To begin, we hold in love, all of us, those present and those absent. We light a candle for our church community. We have a concern, a note of passing of Carolyn Hembry.
Yes.
Okay. She's a community activist. She and her surviving husband, Jack, have been active in Progressive Church. We have a concern from Cynthia Moore. Says, I will be getting neurosurgery in the St. Louis on Tuesday. The deep brain stimulation will help control the tremors in my right hand, so good thoughts are appreciated. We light a candle for Cynthia and for Caroline. We have a joy from Zephyr Smith. My mother, Laura Smith's birthday is tomorrow, so happy birthday. We light a candle of joy. We have a joy from Betty Ridge for a wonderful weekend in Oklahoma, seeing old friends and family, and attending the church where I became a UU and where Tim and I were married. So we light a candle of joy. From Roberta W. Says, I won the hula hoop contest at breast cancer fundraiser last night. Luau night. Says challengers will be accepted at the Loaded Baked Potato Mash Bash on November 9th. So we like a joy for Roberta. And then a joy from Laura Smith. I'm going to be a grandma in February. So congratulations. It's excellent. I believe that's all the paper ones we have. We have one from the chat box. It says, oh, this is from Michael, a concern and joy. He got home finally from Mercy ER early and says it was a possible stroke to begin with, but now he has medicine for it and he hasn't slept. So he's being tested for dizziness. So lots of health concerns. We wish him well. And any other, I think that's everything I have here. So we honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world. We light a candle for all who are impacted. And in closing, we light a candle for the joys and concerns that remain unspoken. May we hold each of these in our hearts and minds, and may our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. And now let us join together in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life.
Our closing words are If We Imagine by Sherry Woodbury. What a world there can be if we imagine, if we share, if we care, if we act. What a world there can be if we are invisible in heart and make the most of our one shot. Let us trust that the seeds we plant in time will flourish and that we can create the tipping plant points for a better future, for our children's children and the great web of life on earth. Let us make a new start. May it be so. Amen. The final hymn today is Winds Be Still. It's number 83 in the gray hymnal. Feel free to stand if you like and sing. We will now extinguish our communal and personal chalices and follow our unison words. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew.